Hey y'all, it's your girl Toyia T, and we have a power pack show for you today. As you know, this is love and relationships, and if you know Toyia T, you know that I love to connect people. So we're gonna get into some juicy topics today. We have a therapist, Siobhan Wagner, here with us. We also have two bachelors, Greg Curitan and Rich Espich. And I'm going to give them a chance to introduce themselves. If you have comments that you want to put or questions that you want us to ask, go ahead and drop them down below and we'll try to get to them before the end of the show. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and let Siobhan introduce herself so you know who's giving you some tidbits of information about your relationships. Siobhan?
Good evening. My name is Siobhan Wagner. I'm a therapist with mental health and substance abuse. I've been in the field for 6 years now, and I do everything with mental health and substance abuse.
All right. And so are you excited to share your experience around relationships this evening?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Ready.
I'm sure they're going to be ready to hear from you. So next, I want to introduce the bachelors. And so I'll start with Greg Curitan. If you could just let us know who you are, a little bit about yourself so the ladies know who is this guy that I would potentially go out on a date with.
Hey Toya. Hey everybody. Greg Curitan, 37 years old. I am from Cincinnati. Pretty much been in Cincinnati my whole life. Went to the same high school as Siobhan, Princeton Vikings all day.
Go Vikings.
Right.
I'm a Viking too, Greg.
Oh, okay, my bad, Toya. Didn't know. All right, but yeah, right now I work for Procter and Gamble. I've been single for about 2.5 years now. So when this opportunity arose, I decided to branch out and try new things.
All right. Well, we're interested to hear what you have to say. Next, we have Rich Espich. Rich, do you want to do a quick introduction?
Sure. Hi, everybody. Rich Espich. I'm a small business owner here on the west side of Cincinnati. I am 39. Can you hear me, Toya?
All right. Well, we're looking forward to hearing from you, Rich. Yeah. Can you turn your volume up just a little bit?
I can. How's that?
All right. So this first question is going to be really open to anybody to answer, but I especially want to hear from the bachelors. Is it possible for someone to be out of your league? If so, can you explain? And if not, explain that.
I don't know, Rich. I can start off with this one. So this is kind of tough, and I don't want to sound like I have a overinflated ego about myself, but I don't think anyone would be out of my league necessarily. I feel like I'm fairly well educated. Like I have my own house. I handle my business basically in my life. I have dated women who, made more money than me, maybe that were farther along in their career than I was. But at no point did I feel like they were just out of my league and I shouldn't even try. So I can't speak for them. Maybe they felt like they were out of my league, but personally, I haven't felt that, and I don't feel like I would.
Okay. And so if someone was out of your league, what would be aspects that would make them out of your league? Is it only about finances? Could it be more than that?
Yeah, I don't think it would just be finances. Maybe they were like more cultured than me. Maybe they experienced more of the world than I had. But it doesn't have to just be finances. It could be a ton of different things. Maybe their mindset was different than I was. For example, if I was going out every night, partying every night, trying to club, live like I was back in my 20s, maybe then they would feel like they were out of my league and it wouldn't just be money.
Okay, so more of maturity.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. Okay, Rich, what about you? What do you think?
Well, I want to say first that I'm an expert at dating only because I'm so bad at relationships.
You said you're bad at relationships?
I'm good at dating, though. Because I'm bad at relationships.
Me too.
Thank you. You got that. I think somebody could absolutely be out of your league. So I disagree with Greg on that point. Certainly, people were in different leagues. I think you probably judged that a while ago on 4 basic things I like. You got physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional levels. And so, in my experience, it's always good for me to grow as a person. So I want to, go like one level up, and usually date out of my league at one level up. What I would caution with is going any more than one level up, because if you go up too high, obviously you come down, and you can only pretend so long. So
I hear you. You want to make sure you're close to the league, right? So that you don't feel like you're at the edge. Siobhan, what can you add to that conversation?
I think when you say am I out of my league, that just says I'm better than you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like I don't think anyone is better than anyone. I think that our goals may be different. So you may have someone that wants to be an entrepreneur, and then you may have someone that just wants a regular 9 to 5. So if those two don't match, then it's just like, she didn't want what I wanted, or he didn't want what I wanted. So it's just like, maybe she was out of my league, or maybe he was out of my league. But I think it's more of goals. What are you driving? What are you striving for? What do you want out of this relationship?
Right. So maybe it's not necessarily being out of the league as much as it's just not being a match.
Right. I think when we think about people being out of the league, it boils down to money and finances. So if we just narrow it down to the basics, we're human beings, and this is where we're going to start, then what?
Okay. I can see that. And so I think a lot of times people get into relationships and they may not even be ready for a relationship, right? Are there certain things, and I'm asking Siobhan this question first, are there certain things that you want to consider before getting into a relationship? Things that you maybe need to get your house in order in some ways?
Most definitely, you have to consider yourself. So you hear people, well, I have a list, and it's these requirements of what someone wants. But first, you have to require those things of yourself. Normally, people are getting into relationships and they're broken. So if I enter a relationship and I'm broken, the relationship is also going to be broken. She doesn't make me happy, or he doesn't make me happy. First, you have to be happy with yourself before you move into a relationship. No one can make you happy. You have to make yourself happy.
Absolutely. You have to come in whole, right?
Right.
It can't be that you're coming into this relationship in order to be whole, but instead you have to bring a whole person to the relationship in order for that relationship to thrive.
Right. Exactly. You have
and
to
when
be able to manage your own emotions, your own feelings, your own baggage. So if you can't manage your stuff, then definitely you can't go into a relationship and try to manage your stuff and your stuff. It's not going to work. Right.
Well, I think the one thing that I constantly remind myself is that I'm not looking for a project. When it comes to relationships, I feel like you need to come already put together. I don't want to have to read the instructions and help you put the pieces together because I'm too old for that. But back when I was 25, when I was in my 20s, I felt like I can handle a project or two because I was a project or two.
Well, everybody is still a project, but we don't want a complete project because everybody has room to grow. So it just depends on that area that you want to grow in and that they want to grow in.
So making sure that you're growing do you need to grow in the same area or do you need to grow in separate areas?
It just depends on where you're weak at.
So whether or not you're having a compliment with your partner or if you guys are kind of both moving on the same plane.
Right.
So Greg, I know you said that you've been single for 2 years, right?
Right.
So what are some of the aspects that you consider when you said, you know what, I want to start thinking about getting into a relationship now? What changed after 2 years?
I think one of the main aspects is I feel like you have to be ready to commit to that person, and you have to be ready to. You have to look at that person and see that it's possible for you all to go like all the way. What's happened to me in the past, unfortunately, is that I'll get in a relationship and in the back of my mind, I'm constantly thinking like, yeah, I like her, but what about this over here? And even if I don't do anything, just in the back of my mind can be like, it feel like it feels like to me it deteriorates the relationship because I'm constantly thinking like, what if, what about this, what about that? And I feel like now I'm in a place where I'm ready to commit to that person and not worry about what else is out there and be ready to basically settle down and hopefully find that right person.
Do you think that just comes with life experiences, or?
I think it may be a combination of both. I always thought it was something with me, but talking with some friends, they kind of have some of the same issues as well. So I think part of it is me, but also part of it can be like living life and kind of having experiences. I didn't have a wild and crazy 20s like a lot of my friends did. So maybe I was trying to relive some of that in some way.
Okay. What about you, Rich? What are some things that you consider when you start to say, well, maybe it is time to get in a relationship and settle down?
Yeah, well, I couldn't agree with Greg more on this one. I think it's a level of humbleness, really, where you're just like accepting who you are and willing to accept somebody else for who they are as well. Because obviously they're going to have flaws. They're a project on some level.
Right.
I mean, less levels and more levels. But like online dating, for instance, has changed so much. Like 20 years ago, people used to settle down and marry, the girl up the street, right? But now, you got all these online dating sites. There's a million options out there. So somebody with the slightest bit of OCD could spend the rest of their life trying to make a decision. I mean, it's just not.
It's like analysis paralysis, huh, Rich?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, all these choices. Do I really have to choose one?
Everybody's flawed. Everybody's flawed. So you just have to be willing to accept that people have shortcomings.
Right. Okay. So you're saying like there's always gonna be something. So you want to pick the one with the least kind of.
See, there you go. You're looking for the one with the least amount of problems. So it's like
right.
some problems in the person I'm with. No, I think it's more about just like what Greg was saying. Just deciding to enter in upon a venture, like a long distance with somebody. And as long as something like major doesn't come up, you got to be willing to accept them for who they are and try to grow, or maybe even help them with their growth.
Absolutely. And help each other grow, right?
Yeah.
So there's this concept of deal breakers. Is that a real thing? And if so, what are some of your deal breakers?
Ooh, this is interesting.
I guess I'll take this one first. So I know one major deal breaker for me is personality. If a woman has a personality that I really can't vibe with, or if I'm trying to get away from more times than not, then that's just a situation I can't see myself in. Like if we just can't sit around and talk and laugh and be goofy together, if there's something about you that makes me want to get away sometimes, or even a lot of the time, I feel like that's a deal breaker for me, and I have to get away from this relationship.
Give me an example. That's hilarious to me.
So yeah, I've been in a relationship, not my most recent one, but a while ago, where like we kind of connected on every level without going into too many details, except just being able to talk about anything. So like we could go out, we could have fun, drink together, listen to music together, all of that. But when there was nothing else to do and we may just be sitting on the couch watching TV, like we had nothing. Like it was, her personality was completely different from mine and we just didn't click. So while yeah, we did have good times, we had fun, it was just something missing there. And I feel like her personality just didn't connect with my personality. Like I said, I'm kind of a goofy person. I don't take myself too seriously, and she was like the complete opposite.
Got you. Okay. What about you, Rich? What are your deal breakers?
That's a good one. Personality. That certainly it. If you guys can't get along and talk and have common, you gotta have common hobbies or passions. I think that's really important. But a drink or a drug problem with anybody would completely shut me off. That is so a deal breaker for me. And Siobhan, I guess probably speak to why that would be problematic to anybody really. But yeah. Other than that, just being open-minded and willing. If they're not willing to talk, negotiate, then that would be a deal breaker.
Okay. So I'm hearing substance abuse is an issue, personality-wise, like you need to be able to have some of that. Siobhan, what are some things that are healthy deal breakers? Is there such a thing as healthy deal breakers versus unhealthy deal breakers? Anything that we should consider along those lines?
A deal breaker is a deal breaker. Like when a deal is off, the deal is off. I can't think of anything that would be a healthy deal breaker. So when you say a deal breaker, that's just like, it's it, we're done, we're finished. So with me being married, my deal breakers would be different from someone dating. So yeah, deal breakers is done, it's over with.
Right. Well, I know my deal breakers are like hard and fast. I'm very decisive. I will not date smokers. Like, I don't mind if they smoke marijuana or something like that, but I can't do like cigarette smokes. It drives me absolutely batty. And so it's interesting how you can make a decision really quickly. Like you can meet somebody and like, no, it's not going to work. So I'm curious, how long does it take you to know if this just isn't the one? Like when you think about personality or whatever, how long does it take you to figure that out? Is that a year process? Is that a couple weeks? What does that look like?
I think when we come to picking relationships, like you pick your flavor, your spice level. Like some women are really, really spicy, and you may say, you know what? She's too spicy. I can't handle all of this that she's serving up. You know, maybe you need something a little bit more calmer. And so for women, you're like, oh man, he's just sitting here like a bump on a log. I need something a little bit more spicier. I think when looking at relationships, you sort of kind of pick the spice level. What can you handle? Because everybody has a little bit of craziness in them. So it's just like, can I handle
just a little bit?
Yes, well, sometimes a lot of it. But so you really have to determine, like, can I handle this? And if you can't handle it, then it's okay to say, like, I can't handle this.
Okay. And how long do you think it takes you to know what the spice level is?
I think you know that, within a couple of months.
About a month?
A couple of months.
A couple of months, okay.
After you spend a lot of time together and, the real person comes out and not the representative, you're like, oh, this is different.
Right. Okay. What do you think, Greg? How long do you think it takes to find out if the person's too spicy or if the personality is too vanilla?
I think it depends on what that deal breaker is. So like you said with the smoking thing, that's funny because that's actually one of mine too. So like, I feel like that's an immediate one. Like, okay, I give you a hug. What's that smell? Okay, nah, I'm out of here. Like, that's it. But
like, I'm cool.
Right. Yeah. But like with the personality thing, you may want to give that person like Siobhan said, like a month or two, see what's going on with them, how they operate. And then after you get a good feel for them, I say it would take about a month or two to say like, okay, I'm in for this, or I need to get out of here.
Okay. Rich, how about yourself?
Well, smoking cigarettes is probably a deal breaker. Smoking weed is definitely a deal breaker. Because if my girlfriend's getting high, we're definitely not connecting mentally at that point. Right. She's all, it does something to you. I can't do it. But I would say these guys are right. A month or two till the new car smell wears off.
Right. So once you find out who the real person is, then you get the full explanation of what's going on. So, we've got these gift cards for you guys to go on these dates. So I think it's only fitting that we do just like, I don't know, a couple of minutes of just quick questions so we can really get to the bottom of who you are and like what you're gonna bring to the table, why they should want to go on a date with you. Are you ready to be on the hot seat?
No, not at all. But I guess I'll do it. I'll start. It won't be long. So
you only got a few minutes, but we can learn a lot in a few minutes.
Okay.
So what happened with your last relationship? Why did it end? And do you feel like there's something that you can change for the new relationship?
Yeah, I with my last relationship, we were at that point where it was basically time to put a ring on it or go a different way, and I just couldn't commit. It was a situation where yes, we could get engaged, we could get married, but I didn't see us being married like forever. So instead of taking that big leap and doing that, and then maybe having to deal with divorce and all that, I just thought it would be smarter to get out of the relationship and see if there was something else better out there.
Do you regret it?
I'm sorry, would you say?
Do you regret it, or do you
No.
feel like you made the right decision?
I feel like I made the right decision.
Okay.
Yeah. Now there are times where, sorry, Toyia, there are times where like I'll be sitting at home watching TV by myself, like, okay, this kind of sucks. But overall, I think it was the right decision.
Okay. Because that's a long time to consider, right?
Definitely.
So you don't want to just make the decision for the moment.
Right.
What about you, Rich? What was your last relationship, and is there anything that you could do to prepare for this next one?
Sure. The last one I was in was 3 years, and it ended kind of abruptly. I would suggest you ever go on a vacation, you're going to be away, plan it out, so you know what's going on, and don't tire yourself too much, because you get tired, and that's when people can get upset. But I guess I showed maybe some financial insecurity, and it completely turned her off. And when we came back, it was probably the end, but really a misunderstanding. I think there were other problems too, but yeah.
You think it was just kind of the icing on the cake?
Yeah, it was kind of a thing where we were just hanging around for because like I said, we connected on certain levels, and there was others where you knew it wasn't gonna last. Maybe we didn't trust each other to go to the next level. So, but yeah, you're right.
And trust is really important.
It really is.
And so, next question for the hot seat is, what are you looking for in this lucky lady? What's important to you?
You want to go, Rich?
Sure. So I would say, you get with the person, you see children right away. Now, if I could trust them to raise my child, I guess that's really where my head goes. That's what I want ultimately in a relationship.
Okay, so you go to the childbearing and whether or not they could be a good mom and that kind of thing.
Right.
What about you, Greg?
Something similar to what Richard said, but I would also loop it in with something we spoke on earlier. Like, I don't think anyone is looking for a complete project, and I'm definitely not looking for a complete project. Obviously, everybody has their flaws, and nobody's perfect. But I definitely would like somebody to basically have their life together for the most part, in the sense of, kind of like what I said, I'm not looking for a complete project, and kind of bring somebody along to where I feel like I'm at, if that makes sense.
Okay. Siobhan, any parting words for our guests and their considerations of a new relationship, working on dating? Anything you'd like to share?
Yes, don't ignore the red flags that you see. Date with a purpose and be intentional about everything that you do.
Absolutely. I think that's very important because if you're looking to get married, then you want to make sure that you're looking for marriage material, right?
Right.
If you're just looking to have a good time, then you guys can both be on the same page and have a good time. But you just need to, I think, be clear about what your expectations are. So that way no one's getting misled, right?
Right. Communication is everything.
Absolutely. Well, I know that we have to pay our sponsors here in a minute, but I do want to thank you guys for joining us. I want to see if there are any comments. So we'll just head for the producers to see if there are any comments, any questions that people want us to answer in the last 2 minutes before we. All right. Looks like there aren't any comments or questions. Any parting words from the bachelors so that they know who it is that they are looking for a date with?
No, I was just gonna say thanks, Toyia, for the opportunity. Thanks, Siobhan, for the smart advice. And I guess to any women out there, like, feel free to try to get in touch with me if you think we may be a good match. I'm probably not as weird or as crazy as I come off on here, but yeah, hit me up if interested.
Okay, we do have a question really quick. Should you go into a relationship with the intent of marriage and no intent of divorce? I guess that's probably for Siobhan.
Okay. Read it one more time.
Should you go into a relationship with the intent of marriage without the intent of divorce?
Well, first we got to understand that do both parties want to be married? So if both parties want to be married and that's the goal and you're compatible and you have a foundation, then yes. No one wants to get married and say, you know what, next year we're going to get divorced. So I think people use divorce as a cop-out, but it's an option, but it doesn't have to be an option.
Right. But there are times when you should consider divorce.
Yes, most definitely.
But I think if you both go into a relationship with the mindset that we're going to ride this until the wheels fall off, like we are not getting a divorce, we're going to overturn every rock before we consider that as an option, then that's something that you go in with that mindset.
So that's where those deal breakers come into play. So a major deal breaker could be if somebody cheats and somebody gets pregnant. Like, whoa, here's a baby, here's a whole new family. That could be a deal breaker. Like, that's a divorce.
Right.
Abuse could be physical abuse, emotional, all of that stuff are deal breakers. And just like, we're probably going to divorce over this.
Absolutely. Well, that concludes our show. We appreciate you guys stopping in tonight. And I want to make sure that if you have an interest in one of our bachelors, that you go and put your hearts in. I don't remember what the designation is. I want to say that is you have to first like the plug with Toyia T on Facebook. Then you have to subscribe to the YouTube channel, the plug with Toyia T on YouTube. And then you can put in the comments a message with a blue heart for Greg and a purple heart for Rich if you'd like to go on one of those dates. They will have an opportunity to kind of look through all of the different women that have expressed interest, and then they'll pick one lucky lady to go on that free date with at either Gala Park or BJ's. And you can express interest within the next 48 hours until 5 o'clock on Friday by inboxing me. And I'm Toyia Montgomery on Facebook. You could also inbox the plug with Toyia T to express your interest. Thanks again, everyone, and we will see you again next month for our political show. That's it. I'm here to connect you to resources and opportunities. Have a good night.
Today's episode of The Plug is sponsored by Donnie Young, an ADT authorized provider, supplying you with all of your security needs for your business and beyond. For more details, call Donnie at 513-623-0679. Want to build and maintain a healthy relationship with the one you love? Try one of Flame's next virtual workshops. Contact them at flameworkshops@gmail.com for more information. And My Lush Life, your one stop for all things wine. Follow them on IG at Lush Life Brands. A special thanks to BJ's in Gallup Park for providing our bachelors with a free night out. The Plug thanks all of our sponsors for helping us keep you connected.